From a 40-year dream to someone who met an alternate version of themselves, here's what you missed last week on my TikTok. Whoosh. What's up, glitches, and welcome back to Spooky Story Time. If you're new here, my name is Jess. People call me Auntie Matrix, and I read your weird and unexplainable stories. All the stories that we read here are true stories that real people send in. So if you're into stuff like glitches in the Matrix, the paranormal, dreams, and aliens, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you never miss a video. Also, make sure to check out my Auntie Matrix merch and all of my other links over at TcV&x.com. The link is down in the description. All the stories that you are about to see were posted last week over on my TikTok, and I've put together a little compilation for you. If you're looking to skip to a specific story, the timestamps are in the description as well. Grab your favorite snack, a comfort item to squeeze, and let's get weird. Let's read some Glitch in the Matrix stories, part 244. The Suitcase. Hi, Auntie. Hi! I have binged your videos and absolutely love them. As someone who has always believed in and experienced glitches in the Matrix and paranormal activity, I really hope this makes it in a video. Oh, hi, it is. I was always the child in the home that was said to have an active imagination. I grew up experiencing things out of the ordinary, like hearing voices or my name being called, seeing things like shadows and figures out of the corner of my eye, and frequently getting chills and having the overall feeling that I'm not alone. As the youngest child of two girls, I seemed to be the only one that had experiences like this and felt the need to share. I was always told that it was my mind playing tricks on me and to ignore the things that I was seeing/hearing. Until I was at an age that I understood what I was experiencing was real, I tried my best to shake it off and let the feeling fade out. When I was in elementary school, I used to go around the corner and visit a girl from school. The two of us were firm believers that the paranormal was real, and we both had experienced things that show it to be true. Her mother was somewhat of a hoarder, and her basement, aside from being plain creepy and haunting, was full of piles of objects and keepsakes, most of which being very old toys, baby clothes, and household items, all seeming to be quite dated and old. In one of the spare bedrooms down the stairs, under the twin bed kept in the corner, was a locked suitcase. Her mother refused to even open the suitcase for us. She always had a concerned or uncomfortable look on her face any time we brought it up, but we were so curious we persisted and asked relentlessly for her to unlock it and show us what was inside. I always had a terrible feeling anytime I was in that room, and anytime I slept over, we would sleep in the basement right next to the door leading into that room. I would often wake up in the middle of the night to the sound of someone talking and the spring of the twin bed moving like someone was laying or sitting down on it. One day she finally gave up and took us down the stairs with a key and pulled out the suitcase. Is anybody else like really excited to see what's in the suitcase? As she was about to open it, her behavior changed immediately and she seemed to be entranced and zoned out, not responding to either of us when we tried to get her out of it. Her eyes looked lifeless and her grip on the handle of the suitcase was weak because she was shaking. The room we were in got very quiet and the two of us got crazy chills in the same moment her mother went blank. I wanted to get up and leave the room, but I felt like I was stuck where I was and I couldn't leave. My eyes were locked on her mother. After a minute or so of attempting to get her mother's attention, she seemed to wake up and pushed the suitcase back onto the bed. She told us we would never see what was inside and it was a mistake to even bring the key down the stairs. For the rest of the day, she didn't seem to be in reality, staying in her bedroom and locking the door. What the actual fuck is in that suitcase? What the fuck? The suitcase wasn't the only thing in that house that gave me the creeps, as her mother had a closet door in her bedroom that actually opened to a staircase to the attic. Nope. Halfway up the staircase was a window, not a door, looking into an enclosed room with nothing but a rocking chair. What the actual fuck? The only way to enter this dilapidated empty room was through the window. Her mother also never let us up that staircase, so the only chance we had to check it out was when her mother left us alone for an hour to go get groceries. Don't check it out. Don't do that. Don't do it. My friend took me into her mother's bedroom, opened the attic door, and took me up the stairs to the window. We both had a terribly eerie feeling as we took each step and eventually got too spooked to stay any longer. We felt so scared being alone in that house, so we ended up running out the back door and making our way to the driveway, waiting for her mother to come back. After waiting in the driveway for a minute or so, we heard the loudest blood-curdling scream from inside the house, but absolutely no one was home. I decided I didn't feel comfortable being in her home anymore after that, and many other scary experiences I had when visiting previously. I haven't talked to that girl since elementary school. Are you kidding me right now? Oh my god, I feel like that story was a whole bunch of suspense, and then there was no end to the suspense because we didn't see what was in the fucking trunk, and we didn't know what was in the fucking room, and we didn't know what the fucking voice was. This is gonna bother me. This is gonna bother me so bad. I have chills, and this is gonna bother me not knowing. I need to know. Oh my god. What do you guys think was in the suitcase? And what do you guys think that fucking room was? This person sent me a story about a failed alien abduction that we are going to read right now. I'm Auntie Matrix. People send me their weird, unexplainable, true stories to this email address, and I share those with you, and this is number 245. Let's get weird. Hi, Auntie Matrix. Hi! It's crazy how long I've been watching your TikTok before remembering I had a story of my own. When I was around 12 years old, I was spending the weekend at my grandparents' house in Mineral Point, Wisconsin. It's a very small town with less than 3,000 in population, but their house is on a quarter-acre lot and surrounded by lots of other homes, very suburban feel, and up on top of a very large hill. Their spare bed is next to the window in the basement, and there is no door to the upstairs, so I can see lots of light and hear everything that goes on. One night during the summer, remember this is a very small and quiet town, I went to sleep in my usual bed downstairs. At some point, maybe it was around 12 a.m., I was awakened with one of the loudest noises of my life, what I can only describe as a very loud Mack-type truck roaring its engine right by the window. I was so startled that I was sure my grandparents would wake up, but there was no movement in the house. I didn't see any lights or movement outside through the window and no lights coming from upstairs. After 20 minutes, I decided to use my cell phone from inside the house to call my grandparents' home phone. The phone rang and the extremely loud Mack truck sound suddenly blipped away. Just like the movies portrayed today, the sound was as if a spaceship was slowly retreating back into the sky. My grandfather answered the phone and came downstairs as I had requested, checked outside around the house and reassured me everything was fine and went to bed. The next morning, he asked my grandmother, the neighbors, and even called the city to see if anyone knew the source of the noise, and there's absolutely no explanation. Nearly 20 years later, I still vividly remember the noise, and my grandfather still remembers me calling him to come downstairs. Weird that the phone woke him up, but not the noise, right? Wondering if this is a typical small town or farm type occurrence, or if anyone in Wisconsin area has experienced something similar. I would love to know. That is really weird that they didn't wake up to the sound that you were hearing, but they woke up to the sound of the phone. That makes me feel like only you could hear the sound. Now, you see, you didn't see anything, like you didn't see any lights or anything, and normally I feel like with an abduction, people see some sort of light. Not that I know everything about abductions, because I don't. One thing that came to my mind is that it was not an alien anything, and that you, since it was the middle of the night, were maybe like in between dimensions, because you know we're all like astral traveling around when we sleep, and then maybe you were hearing that noise because that was happening to you, like you were experiencing something like that, and then the phone ringing woke you up more, not woke you up, but kind of brought you back completely to this reality, to this dimension. Does that make sense? Or it literally could have been an alien spaceship that came and they were like, oh shit, the phone's ringing, we don't want to get in trouble. And then they zoomed away. I'm very interested to know like what the sound exactly, what did it exactly sound like? Opinions in the comments below. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, I'll watch it. Like every notification I'm getting is you guys tagging me in this video. We gotta check it out.
Call me crazy if you want, but I've never liked store-bought.
Susie, you're right. That's absolutely unhinged. So this one night, I was 21. I was going to sleep like normal, living in Wellington, New Zealand, and I don't know, was expecting to just get up and go to uni the next day. But I ended up falling asleep and finding myself in a dream. Now, what typically happens with me when I'm dreaming is I'm aware that I'm dreaming. I don't think it's quite lucid dreaming, but it's just like a level of awareness, I guess. And what was starting to happen around this time as well was I was getting pregnancy dreams. And this happened to be one of those. So I was pregnant and I could feel the baby in my belly. I could feel everything. And, you know, it got attached to it because I'm a young woman and it's biology. But after a while, I'm starting to realize that this dream is going on for quite a long time, and it's getting later in the day, to the point where it's like time to kind of go to bed. And I'm just like, this is weird. I've never gone to bed in a dream before. So I go to bed expecting that when I wake up in the morning, I'll just be woken up from my dream. I'll be back in my bed in Wellington. But that doesn't happen. I wake up and I'm still in the dream. So this cycle kind of repeats itself over the next few days. I kind of wait to go to sleep at night to hope that I'm going to wake up again, and I don't wake up. I'm still just in this dream. And I'm kind of thinking about my family at this point. I'm missing my boyfriend. I'm missing everything. And then more days go by and more days go by, and I'm in labor. And I guess it's good to say that like in all the pregnancy dreams I've had before, I've never given birth in any of them. So this was kind of like the moment I was waiting for when all this was going on. I was like, okay, well, I've never actually given birth in a dream before. So when I'm giving birth, that's when I'll wake up. But did I? No. I was on the hospital bed. I started giving birth I've also never felt pain in a dream, but I felt this. I felt every bit of the labor, and I gave birth to a baby boy. I named him. I did everything that a new mother would do, which is weird because how would I know what a mother would do? I'm not a mum myself yet. And every day I was still kind of hoping to wake up still, like it kind of just in this weird little space, like starting a new life, but also wondering when I'm going to get back to my old one. It gets to my son's 2nd birthday and I reach acceptance. I'm like, okay, I miss my family, but I have to accept I'm never going to see them again. This is my new life now. I have my son. This is my life. I watch him grow up. I watch him go to school for the first time. I watch him get his first crush, graduate, get married, have his own 2 kids. And then on the day of his 40th birthday, I throw him a surprise party. It's kind of weird to say there was never a father in the picture. Like it was always just us 2. But I remember what it looked like. Like there was a picnic table outside. There were heaps of trees in our backyard. We lived in a double-story wooden terraced house. And we were singing him happy birthday. And I woke up. I was back in my bed in Wellington, no longer this like 6-year-old woman with a 40-year-old son. I was 21 in my bed, about to go to uni, like I was wanting to for what felt like 40 fucking years spent in a dream. But as I lay there when I woke up, I was happy to be back, but I missed my son. And I cried, and I went through this grieving process for my son that I had raised for 40 years. And I couldn't tell anyone because I didn't want them to think I was crazy.
What? First of all, that gave me like Inception vibes. Second of all, like, what the fuck? That is insane to me. Insane. So she lived like another 40 years and then came back here. Like, I literally don't even know what to say. Like, first, initially, I was like, okay, maybe she died in this life, so then she hopped into another one, like a quantum immortality thing. But then she came back 40 years later. So she basically just, like, hopped into, like, a parallel universe reality situation, but stayed there for 40 years and had a whole fucking life. I can't even imagine waking up in that reality and dealing with that. And then 40 years later, coming back to this one and then grieving all of that. Like, what? Like, I feel like I'm saying nothing. I'm literally just saying nothing, basically. And how do you not tell anybody? Like, how do you come back here and you don't tell anybody? And you have that in here for so long. This to be really fucking stressful. I want to give this girl so many hugs. And there, like when she was in this other one there, like, did she ever say to anyone in the other reality, like, hey, this happened to me and I woke up here and I don't know what's going on. I'm not supposed to be here. Or did she keep it inside there too? Like, has she kept all of this inside for 40 years plus whatever else when she came back until now when she just shared it with the world? Friend. Holy shit. No wonder you guys kept tagging me in this thing. This person sent me a story about meeting an alternate version of themselves, which we are going to read right now. What's up, glitches? I'm Auntie Matrix, and people send me their weird, unexplainable, true stories to this email address, and I share those with you. This is number 246. Let's get weird. Hi, Auntie Matrix. Hi! I've experienced weird things my whole entire life, meaning that I have seen, heard, felt, and dreamt these. I have so many stories in my 34 years of life. I've even shared a room with a ghost when I was a toddler, had a spirit of a tiger jumping at me for a while, and etc. What? Oh, yeah, etc. Just spirit of a tiger jumping at you, sure. This particular story is about when I would see an alternate version of myself all the time when I was like 4 or 5. We moved back to my dad's childhood town, which is, the grocery store was just 4 blocks from our house from the back, and the school was 3 blocks from the front of the house. Anyway, I would see her uptown crossing the street holding the hand. Oh, her. Oh, I got confused because we just jumped right in. The her is the alternate version of you, okay? I would see her uptown crossing the street holding the hand of a thin woman with long brown hair while driving by with my mom. She always had my face and hair and the exact same clothes I was wearing. She was always a thin woman with long brown hair, and I don't remember ever seeing her face. My mom has long brown hair, but she gained weight after she had me and had her tubes tied. The only times I would remember seeing her was always when we were in town. She would be coming out of a little cafe or walking down the sidewalk holding this woman's hand. The weirdest and closest encounter was during the winter, and I had just gotten a brand new jacket, and I went uptown to the little grocery store with my mom, and as soon as we walked in, there she was. I was stunned. When we walked in, my mom started talking to the worker and didn't seem to notice this little girl who literally looked like me. She had my face and hair, and she was wearing the exact same jacket I was wearing, my brand new jacket. I remember staring at her and her staring at me. We did not say anything or do anything. We just stared at each other. But none of the adults seemed to notice anything. We were just staring at each other, and then the thin woman with long brown hair grabbed her hand and they started walking out the door, and we just kept staring at each other until she was gone. I never mentioned anything to my mom. I never really mentioned any of the weird things I was experiencing to anyone until I got older. I never thought about it. It wasn't like I was keeping it a secret. It just never occurred to me to even say anything until I hit about 20. And I was watching something one day and I was thinking about all the weird shit I've been through, and I started mentioning it to my parents. Hold on. How did it not even occur to you to tell anybody? I'm sorry. That is like crazy for me. The first thing I would be doing would be telling somebody, like, holy shit, this just happened to me. The only time that I wouldn't is if it was a case where I was like, okay, they're not gonna believe me. They're gonna think I'm fucking crazy. I don't want to hear their shit, them fucking tell me that I'm crazy and I made it up or what the fuck ever. So I'm not gonna, that was a lot of curses. So I'm not gonna say anything because of that. But you said you're not scared to tell. You just like didn't think of it. How do you not think of it? Don't you want to share like the weird shit that's happening? I digress. I don't even know what that word means really. Okay, so we told the mom when we got old. My mom believes me because she started telling me her weird experiences too. She never told us about her experiences when we were little, but when I told her mine, she started telling me hers. Now whenever we experience something weird, we tell each other, and sometimes we will even see and hear the same ghost. Thank you for reading this, and I hope you don't mind if I write you more of my story. We'll send them right over if you want. I don't mind at all. I don't mind. See, you should have thought to tell her before. You guys could have been doing this the whole time. You could have been exchanging stories the whole time, and it probably would have felt nice to have somebody that like understood what you were going through. But I guess you weren't really going through much. It seemed like you were totally like, I wasn't even thinking about it. So it was just like, eh. So it seems like the adults didn't notice, just the kids noticed, and you guys were just like staring at each other, making eye contact. And did you see her again after that? That's a question I have. Or was that like the last time? Or was that just like the most face-to-face time? So I'm wondering if you were seeing like the bleed over of another reality, right? And for some reason only you and the child could see that happening, and it was always in that specific spot. So maybe the between, I want to say the word veil, but I don't really mean that. Like the veil between those two realities or those two dimensions or universes was like thin right there. So you were able to see that version of yourself. And maybe because, you know, I feel like we are all a bunch of versions of us all over the place, but we're all one person, kind of like connected, but separate. Does that make sense? So maybe you were able to see because, first of all, you're children, and children are more open and to seeing kind of things like that. And also because you're connected, because it was you. I don't know. I don't know. That's pretty cool though. Thank you so much for sharing. That concludes our creepy compilation for today. If you enjoyed this, you might also enjoy catching me live on TikTok, where we hang out, read people's stories, and chat about them. We have an awesome community of open, loving, and accepting people where our motto is, we believe you. That community extends to Discord as well. Please come and join us in Discord. You can hang out with like-minded people, and I have an announcements channel where I announce things like when I'm going live on TikTok, when I'm posting a new YouTube video, when I'm dropping new merch. It's just a good place to be. You can get the links to my TikTok, my Discord, and everything else over at TescaVision.com, linked in the description. In the meantime, you might want to keep it going here and check out this video or this playlist.